Hi, welcome back to my channel today. It's been a bit of a weird few months, hasn't it, with all the kind of coronavirus, all the wedding postponements. I know a lot of you watching this channel would have been through a really tough time with having to postpone your wedding, make new arrangements, maybe be unsure about what's actually going on and what's going to happen for your own wedding day if you are still kind of in that nervous zone. I just wanted to create a video today and say how much I really do feel for you all. It's been a really strange time. I got into this industry to make wedding days happen, and so far all this year has just been postponement after postponement, and I am so ready to have a wedding day soon. So in my video today, I thought, knowing that how many of you have had to go through this and how many of you have had to postpone and maybe you've had to change a season or change quite a lot to do with your wedding day, I thought I'd put together a video about some steps that I think you should all be taking if you are postponing your wedding to make sure you've got everything covered and to start getting you excited for your new day and maybe looking at your wedding day with a new vision, a new style, whatever kind of suits you. So with that in mind, I have 10 tips to help you postpone your wedding day to a new season and make sure that you have everything covered. If you are one of these couples that have had to postpone your wedding, please pop it down in the comments for me and let me know how you found the whole process. Did you find it easy? Were suppliers accommodating? Are you now looking forward to your new wedding? What did you do when your original wedding date came around? I love hearing everyone's stories, so head on down into the comments now and let me know. I'll reply to each and every one because I do love reading these stories, so please send me yours and I will really enjoy reading through them. If you're enjoying this video or you like the subject, hit that subscribe button, turn the bell on for future notifications on videos, and you can hear all I've got coming up to help you in your whole journey in getting to your next wedding day or getting to your current wedding day if you haven't actually had to postpone. So let's get on with the details. If we haven't met before, my name is Laura Beth and I am a wedding planner here in the UK, and this is my little wedding world where I get to talk to you all each week and give you hints, tips and secrets into the wedding industry to make sure that your wedding planning journey is so much easier, stress-free and just way more enjoyable. So I hope you've been finding that so far if you've been checking out some of my other videos. If you haven't, I've got loads for you to look back on and I really hope you enjoy. Here are my 10 tips to help you if you are postponing your wedding date to a new season and you need to have some ideas on what to do. Number one, many of you would have been through this already if your wedding date has already passed or you're in kind of the coming few days and you're unsure of what's going to happen with your wedding day. The first thing I suggest is open up a line of conversation with your venue. Speak to them and discuss what postponement options are available. This is going to be the biggest issue when moving your wedding. I'm not supposed issue. It's going to be the biggest part of moving your wedding, and it's going to decide what date ultimately you're going to move to. You need to know what other dates your venue has got available. So first off, speak to them, and your second most important supplier, if it's not included in your venue, is going to be your caterer, because you've probably booked them because you love them, you love their style, you love the food. So venue and caterer are the two biggest things you're going to want to discuss, and make sure you can find a new date that both can move to and they can both do the wedding day that you expected on that new date. Number two, once you've kind of got a date in mind, or maybe a couple of dates that your venue and caterer can do, you'll want to start speaking to your other suppliers. Now, some suppliers, and I hate to say it like this, some suppliers are going to be more important to your day than others. Tables, chairs, things like that, if you can't move that supplier to a new date, are not going to be the end of the world, and you can likely get similar products from elsewhere. I'm not saying that you don't love your current supplier, but your photographer and things like that are going to be with you on the day may be more important to you to have that same person move with you. So you're going to want to speak to all your suppliers, and hopefully you can get a date that everyone wants to move to, and that is the ideal situation. But make sure that the ones that you really want and the ones that are more irreplaceable are able to move with you to the new date, and kind of look at the big picture before you set on that date. Number three, before finally confirming that new date, you're going to want to speak to your bridal party and your family and make sure all the key people involved in your wedding day are available on that new date, that no one's got holidays booked or they're not going to be able to be there for whatever reason. So make sure that parents, bridal party, bridesmaids, groomsmen, all those sorts of people, brothers and sisters, your closest family, are all able to make your new date. And then you can finally commit and sign off that you have a new wedding date to start getting excited about. Number four, you've got your date. Everyone close to you can do it, your suppliers can do it. You're now going to want to tell your guests about that new date. So sending out either new invitations, which is quite a costly way to do it, but it can be a nice way to send a card in the post, or if you've got a wedding website, then updating the details and letting everyone know about the new day and what they have to do to get ready for that. This may be requesting everyone to RSVP again, because some people may now be able to come that couldn't before, and vice versa, people who were coming might not be able to come anymore. So you'll want them to update all their details on the wedding website. So get that process rolling as soon as you can, and get everyone starting to come in, because it may only be that you've moved your wedding by a couple of months, so you need to get all the details in nice and quickly. If you've moved your date for a like to the following year, then you maybe don't need to start this process so soon, but letting everyone know what the new wedding date is so everyone can get excited with you is really good to do as soon as you can. Number 5, now this is more if you've moved your date of your wedding from one season to another. So say you had a summer or spring wedding this year and you've had to move that to autumn or winter, either at the end of this year or beginning of early 2021. You may want to look at your wedding outfit and what you're going to be wearing. If you had a really light, strappy, backless dress, jumpsuit, whatever you've gone for, that is going to be freezing cold in the middle of winter, you may want to speak to your dress designer or your seamstress or whoever you've got to talk about maybe adding some extra sleeves or extra layers into the dress. There is so much potential with dresses, so speak to them of what they can advise. You may love the dress as it is and not want to change it, and you don't have to. If you've looked at your options, you will know that your wedding venue is suitable and you're going to be warm in it anyway, but maybe having a little wrap or an overcoat or something you can wear to keep you warm on the day might be something you want to look into. This also extends to looking at your shoes, whether they're suitable for that time of year. Hair and makeup, you may want to go heavier with your makeup in the winter than a summer wedding. You may want to look at a different hairstyle, maybe your hair was very summery and you want to go more winter. So speak to your hair and makeup artist about that if you've got them, and also look at your bridal parties outfits as well. Suits don't tend to matter, they're going to be warm no matter what, but your bridesmaids and anyone in dresses may feel that they want to have an extra layer as well, so you may want to purchase kind of wraps and things to keep them warm on the wedding day too. Number 6, hopefully you have been able to keep your wedding venue as you originally booked, and that is ideal if you've been able to postpone, but you may now want to look at it to make sure it's still suitable for the season that you're getting married in and whether there's anything extra you'll need to do. If you were in a marquee and you've now moved that to maybe a January marquee, obviously it's quite cold and the weather's going to be very different. You may want to make that marquee a little bit bigger, so there's more room to be in there if it's wet all day and you've got to stay inside, and you may want to look at adding a lot more heating to keep everyone warm, and this could include extra lighting outside, so as it gets dark in the evening, if it's a nice evening, you can still all head outside and enjoy kind of fire pits and stuff like that outside. Similarly, if you've got a venue, maybe it's a barn, and you were relying on having the outside space throughout the day, you may want to look at hiring in marquees to have extra cover throughout the day if the weather isn't quite as warm or it's a little bit wetter on the day. And you'll also want to consider now if you are planning an outdoor wedding and you will now need to do an indoor wedding and that space needs to be turned over. How will that space get turned over? What sort of time have you got? Have you got to jiggle around your wedding schedule? And who is going to do this for you? So these are all things you need to take into consideration with changing the season at your wedding venue. But there's things you can always do, you just may need a little bit more forward prep on it than you would have had if it was in a summer kind of date. Number 7, consider looking at your catering. Again, if you've had a summer wedding, you may have a really light, summery, kind of more cold dish rather than hot, warm, heavy food. Whereas in the winter, people do like having more substantial food and that warming sort of feeling. So I would consider maybe looking at the food and seeing if you need to alter it. Speaking to your caterers, they will be able to advise on this, and it may be only subtle changes that make it more suitable. You may not wish to change it at all because you're totally in love with your food, and if you don't want to, don't feel you have to. But it is something you may want to consider and may want to discuss with your catering team. Number 8, you may wish to look at the drinks that you're providing on the day. If you planned on a lovely Pimm's reception drink and it's going to be February, Pimm's doesn't taste so good in the winter, and I love Pimm's, but it just doesn't work. It makes you feel cold and you don't feel all summery and lovely. So you may want to consider something that's a little bit warmer or more traditional. Maybe you want to go for a mulled wine or something like that. There are so many options, but consider what drinks you're serving and whether that still works with your new date. And also on the table, if you had a lot of white and rosé, you may want to include more red wine. Weirdly, I know I do it. In the summer I like to drink white, in the winter I like to drink red, so you may want to up the quantities and change your orders accordingly to make sure everyone has the drink they're going to enjoy and you're not going to be running out and left over with lots of stuff that people aren't going to drink. So moving on to number 9, you're going to want to speak to your florist, and this will be about what kind of flowers you've got on the wedding day. If you had a summer wedding and you're now moving this a couple of months later, or you're going into the winter, the flowers that you've chosen may not be as readily available, so you may wish to change these flowers to be more seasonal. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean you need to change the colour. The florist will be able to work with your colour scheme and add different flowers in that work for that. But given that maybe you've moved to a winter wedding, you may want to add some slightly different tones in, maybe some darker flowers, things like that, to warm up everything in the room. So speak to your florist and they will come up with some amazing ideas and keep everything in budget for you as you planned. And last on the list, number 10, you're going to want to think about a few extra items that you may want to purchase for the wedding that you may not have needed if you're going for a summer wedding. And this goes for things to keep guests warm, maybe like blankets, fire pits, extra heating as we discussed in your venue or outside you may need. And then looking at things for the weather, so if it's going to be wet, you may need to purchase some umbrellas, and you can go for white ones or maybe coloured ones to bring some colour into the day. Also things like welly boots, if you want to go into fields to have photos taken, are always great to have on hand. It means that you can just still get those shots done that you wanted, and no one's going to see what's underneath the dress or on your feet anyway. And especially if you've moved your wedding maybe in line with things like bonfire night and stuff like that in the winter, then you may want to incorporate sparklers and stuff like that into your wedding day, and they can give a lovely cozy wintry warm sort of feeling. So just have a think about what little extras you can add that maybe you wouldn't have had included if you were doing your wedding day in the summer. So I hope this has got you really excited for your wedding. I know it's so tough being asked to move your date. This isn't something we've ever experienced, so to everyone planning their wedding, thank you so much for being so understanding in everything that you've been through so far, and with us suppliers trying to move our dates. We really do appreciate it, and believe me, we cannot wait till your wedding day. So it won't be long, we'll get there, but thank you for your patience in the meantime, and I hope you're looking forward to your new date. That is everything from me. If you've enjoyed this video, as always, please hit that like button. It makes the video more visible to everyone else, and with so many people trying to postpone their wedding at the moment, I hope I can reach everyone and really help in the whole process. And if you have got ideas of your own, or you've got things that you can help other couples with, or talk us through your story and how you found postponing your date, please pop a comment below. I love to hear how you've got on. It helps me advise other couples with the experience that you've been through, and just builds a really nice community where we can all really help and support each other. So yeah, please do that for me. Head on down to the comments box below, and if you haven't done so already, hit that subscribe button wherever it is at the bottom of the screen here, and turn the bell on so you see all my future videos that are coming up in the coming weeks. As always, have a lovely rest of your day or evening, whatever you're doing, and I will see you on another video very soon. Bye!